being a stay-at-home mom can be one of the most rewarding jobs out there.
Yeah, and it also can be one of the most difficult. Just ask either one of these two right here.
We're just talking about mom stuff.
Which can create feelings associated with burnout or depression. So to talk more about this is Dr. Sarah Getch. She's from Kansas City University. First off, great to see you again, Dr. Getch.
Thank you.
So why do you think it is that stay-at-home moms can get depressed or feel depressed?
So if we think about the predictors so we know a lot about predictors for depression. And so some of those predictors are a previous history of anxiety, a previous history of depression, current anxiety, current depression, and lack of social support. So if you pay attention to that last one, that's a really important factor for stay-at-home moms, because sometimes being at home can be so isolating, especially if you're new at being a mom and you haven't created a lot of those connections to be able to sort of pull you out, or even have the energy to get outside, then that can feel really isolating, and that can be a big problem for moms as they're facing depression.
Oh yeah, I mean, even just like during COVID, being a mom who wasn't around the support system and the village that you had maybe created in previous years, that I felt how that could be very depressing.
Absolutely. So if you think about all of the things that you were experiencing prior to being a mom that really made you feel rewarded, so made you have a sense of pleasure or mastery in your life, and then those things shift and change, and all of a sudden you're at home and you're not having the connection to whatever those elements were in your life, whether it was working out consistently or going to work or just having conversations with adults every day. If those things sort of disappear, we have to find new ways to get that positive reinforcement in our lives.
When's a good time to reach out?
The best time to reach out is right away. I mean, we could start to create these connections before we even have children, right? And making sure that we have some of that support network already in place. But you know when there's a problem, when it's starting to impact your functioning. So when you're having trouble, you can't get out of bed, or you're not caring for your children properly, your relationships are suffering, it's time to start seeking some outside help.
How can family members help?
So family members can be really helpful in helping to support you with those connections, helping to either point them out for you or get you connected with other people so that you feel that social support that you need. But they can also help create time for self-care. You know, there's no replacement for self-care, and that includes healthy eating, healthy sleeping, exercising. So if they can give you an hour and a half, that could be really beneficial.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, Abby and I were talking at the very beginning of the show about the FDA approving this drug for postpartum depression. When would be an appropriate time to begin thinking about something like that? And what is your experience so far, if you have any, diagnosing your patients?
So I have read about this drug, and I think it is a game changer. And the reason why it's a game changer is because usually when you start an antidepressant, it takes about 6 weeks for that to kick in. Well, guess what? Postpartum depression can often hit while you're pregnant, or it can hit immediately afterwards. And so this drug's been around since about 2019. The problem was it had to be administered in the hospital over a series of inpatient days. Well, that's not the way hospitals or insurance companies work. Now there's an oral type of this drug, so you can take it and it starts working immediately. Immediately you'll take it for 14 days, and then that can bridge you to if you need another type of antidepressant. So it's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It will literally save lives. And just talking about this and reminding people that even as like a stay-at-home mom has so many challenges, you know, and I think that for so long people diminished that job, that very serious job, and now to talk about it and to show the stressors that come along with being a stay-at-home mom, that's so important. Just making people aware.
I agree, but also sort of there was this idea that, oh, you know, motherhood is the happiest time of your life, and you know what? Maybe it's not, and that's okay. And we don't have to sort of set those feelings aside. We can reach out and ask for help.
Dr. Sarah Getch, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Always a pleasure.
Yep, great to see you.
Good to see you too.